Are you thinking about moving to Millstone, New Jersey? Well, stick around, I got just a video for you. Today we're going over the top 7 things you should know before moving to Millstone. We're going to cover a couple different topics like the school systems, location, and a few others. But before we get started, if it's your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you want to be the first one to know what's going on in either Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get the video started. The very first thing to know about living in Millstone is going to be the location. And as you can see from the photo popping up, Millstone is going to be located in the western part of Monmouth County, and it borders a couple different towns like Manalapan, Freehold, Jackson, just to name a few. Now with living in Millstone, it's also going to be one of the bigger towns we have here in Monmouth County. It ranks 5th out of 53 municipalities in terms of size and comes in at roughly around 37 square miles. Now with major roadways that's going to be involved in Millstone, you're going to have Route 33, Route 537, and Route 195. They're all going to run east to west, and they're all going to be non-toll roads. The Garden State, not the Garden State Parkway, the New Jersey Turnpike is going to be located just west of Millstone. That's going to be one of 2 major highways that we have here in New Jersey that is going to run north to south, and that's going to be a toll road. The other one's going to be the Garden State Parkway, but that's going to be used more for the eastern part of Monmouth County, and it runs up that side. So the New Jersey Turnpike is definitely going to be one of the major roadways that we use here for commuting, and we'll get to that in just a second. And like we just said, the second thing you're going to know is your commute to work. Now, living in New Jersey, a lot of people will typically work outside of it in one of the major cities that we have here, more likely than not New York City or Philadelphia, like we have here for Millstone, but then they'll live in Jersey for the overall better quality of life. Now, in my opinion, it's probably slightly easier and faster in order to get to Philadelphia than it is to New York City. And that's just because when you get into New York City, the last like 10 to 15 miles can take you upwards of 45 minutes at least, maybe even longer. Whereas Philadelphia, you won't have as long of a time frame, I guess, to get into it, but also most of the commute there is going to be relatively pretty smooth. So with Millstone, I would say, depending on which part you live in, you could be closer to Route 33 or Route 195 in the southern part. I would take both of those, go out west until you hit the New Jersey Turnpike, and then take that into Philadelphia. That'll run you roughly, I would say, about an hour to an hour and a half, just kind of depending on your rush hour traffic for that day. So on a good day, an hour, really bad day, probably close to an hour and a half. Going into New York City, an hour and a half will probably be the best time frame you're going to get there to, but more likely than not, you're probably closer to about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. Again, kind of similar. The best route to get there is going west until you hit the New Jersey Turnpike, but instead of going south towards Philly, you go north up into New York City. This is going to, again, run you about an hour 45 to 2 hours. Unfortunately, with living in Millstone, there's not a whole ton of public transportation, so you're kind of stuck driving yourself. The central part of New Jersey is kind of devoid of any type of train station, so they run across the northern part, the southern, and then a little bit on the east coast where the Jersey Shore is, and a couple other towns in Monmouth County. But that central part, there was a rail line being talked about for a while. Nothing's ever really come of it, so it's just kind of, there's nothing really there, unfortunately. And then with the buses, kind of same situation, not really an efficient route that's going to be close enough to you that would make sense in order to get to, or it makes sense in order to get into New York City or Philadelphia. So realistically, driving yourself to both these destinations is pretty much your only option. The third thing to know are going to be a couple different demographics just going on in Millstone. So for the population, you're looking at roughly 10,500 residents, so it's a decent sized community just for Monmouth County in general. And then about 46% of these households will have a child under the age of 18, and 78% of them will be a married couple living together. So if I was looking at just those two specific statistics, I would say that odds are it's a pretty good place to raise a family because you have a lot of people already currently doing that. And it's going to be a low crime rate environment and has pretty good school systems, which we'll get to in a second. The median household income for Millstone is going to be about $135,000, and which we'll get to also later in the video. You're probably going to need that based off the home prices. Point number 4 will be the school system and education in Millstone. So when your child is going through grades K through 8th, they're going to be attending the Millstone Township Public School District, and that's going to be rated a B+ according to niche.com, houses a roughly 1,200 students, and has a 12-to-1 student-teacher ratio. When your child goes on to the high school levels, they're actually going to attend Allentown High School, which is a part of the Upper Freehold Regional High School District. Kind of a mouthful right there. So with Allentown, they're going to be rated an A- according to niche.com, house about 1,100 students, and has a 13-to-1 student-teacher ratio. So relatively about the same between the 2 districts. With Upper Freehold Regional District, that's actually going to be ranked 3rd in all of Monmouth County, with the only 2 being above that being Homedale and Freehold Regional High School District. So it's really competitive in Monmouth County for their public schools, so being ranked 3rd in all of them is actually pretty good and definitely one of the better school systems in our area. Before we head on over into our next point, if you're enjoying the video so far, please smash the like button and comment down below. Help me get this video out to as many people as possible. We're looking to expand our business in 2025 and help as many clients buy and sell in the Monmouth and Ocean County area. And if this sounds just like you and you're watching this video, don't hesitate to reach out. We get calls, texts, emails from people just like you all the time. So don't be shy. Love to help you best we can. With that being said, let's get back to the content you came here for. Point number 5 is going to be different housing options in Millstone. So our MLS likes to break it down to 3 categories for us. We have adult communities, condos and townhomes, and then single families. Unfortunately, or I guess maybe fortunately, the way you look at it, Millstone has some very strict zoning laws. There's not going to be any adult communities, and there's also not going to be any condos and townhomes involved in there. It's going to be all single-family homes. So in 2024, we saw 72 single-family home sales with a median sales price of roughly $912,000. So pretty expensive area to live for, right? We said that kind of earlier in the video. Where does that stack up, I guess, in terms of nationally and Monmouth County? Well, the national median sales price is going to be in the low 400s. Let's just say 410 to 415 right now. It kind of bounces around here and there. And then Monmouth County is going to be $680,000. So Monmouth County's, I guess, Millstone in general is more than twice the amount of nationally for median sales price, and it's still another 225-ish thousand ahead of Monmouth County. So definitely going to be pricier to live in Millstone than some other areas. And I think those zoning laws definitely have some effect on that because you're not going to be able to build upon land that is less than an acre. So each single family home is going to have an acre or more. And then if condos were to be built or townhomes were to be built, they would allow 10 per every acre as well. So again, it would take a significant development, I guess, to pop up for condos and townhomes. But otherwise, I guess is one of the attractive things of living in Millstone is you don't have to worry about heavy business development, industrial development, or anything like that going on. So it does have some pros and cons to it. And then with well water and septic is going to be available over here in Millstone. You're not going to have public water or public sewer. So another just kind of little thing that's going to be different than some other towns in the area. The 6th thing to know is going to be different shopping and dining options available to you. Kind of like we just mentioned with the strict zoning laws though, there's not going to be a ton of businesses, I guess, really to go to, especially for instance, food stores, right? There's not going to be many options that you're going to have in Millstone. You're better off probably going into one of the bordering towns we mentioned earlier, like Freehold Township, Manalapan, or even just Jackson. Kind of depends on where you live in Millstone, right? If you're in the more northern part, maybe hop into Manalapan, the more eastern part, maybe in the Freehold, the southern one in the Jackson, and just kind of so on, right? So I would go into any of those. Freehold's going to have the closest ones, probably Stop and Shop. If you go into Manalapan, you're going to have, You're going to have a Wegmans a little bit farther north. That's going to be quite a ride though, possibly for you. And then Jackson, I think, also has a Stop and Shop right over there. If you go a little bit farther west, I know there's an Aldi, but I think it's kind of in Mercer County. So there are some options around, but you might have to drive a little bit farther because you're living in Millstones, right? And then in terms of just maybe shopping in general, there are some pretty good options, but again, they're going to be outside of that. In Freehold, you'll have the Freehold Raceway Mall. They have roughly 175 to 200 stores at any given time in their mall. And then if you go in the southern part in Jackson, you have the Jackson Premium Outlets, which are going to have about another maybe 80 to 100 stores as well. So plenty of different options to go shopping, but not necessarily directly in Millstone. And for the dining options, kind of similar to what we just said about the shopping in terms of just, I guess, the lack of quantity in a sense, but the quality is definitely still there. There's plenty of different takeout restaurants up and down Route 33, 537, and just so forth, right? But a couple different good sit-down restaurants. I always say this one wrong, but Albivi, it's going to be an Italian-style menu, which is a great spot to head out to. Highly recommend them. And you got Tommy's Inn, that's going to be more of a kind of pub, lodge setting inside. It's actually really nice. And that's going to be like an American-style menu with just burgers, fries, that kind of thing. So there are some pretty good places to go eat in there. But again, if you want to go more to the borders, Manalapan, Freehold, Jackson, and so on, you'll find definitely more options available in them. I know Freehold Borough, which is, again, part of Freehold Township area, but that's going to have many different restaurants down there, but it might take you, 25 to a half hour to get to. The 7th thing is going to be the entertainment options around Millstone. Like we mentioned already a couple times with the zoning laws, there's not going to be a ton to do necessarily in Millstone, but on the surrounding borders, you're going to have a lot to do, and I mean a lot. So just starting off in the southern part with Jackson, you have Six Flags Great Adventures, and they're going to have 3 different parks. They're going to have their typical amusement theme park with all the different roller coasters, rides, etc. And then you're going to have the Hurricane Harbor, which is their water park, and they even have a safari zone over there, which recently in 2024 included a glamping experience, so you get to stay overnight, and they have different things, spa, resort, meals right to the room, and you get to enjoy different parts of the park, and they have different packages. So you just go online to their website and check that out. So just something unique and different in the area. And then also in Jackson, not far from Six Flags, is going to be Adventure Crossing. This is relatively new. I don't know if they opened in 2024 or 23, but it's very new in the area. They have a couple different things from Topgolf suites to Topgolf tracer balls. So that's going to be like you make a shot. It has your swing speed on there, the ball, how far it went, all that kind of thing. So just something a little different, kind of cool. Then they're going to have an arcade, axe throwing. They have a virtual roller coaster over there. So a really cool spot to check out. And if your kids are into any youth athletics, they host a lot of baseball tournaments over there too. And then if you go into maybe the more northern part, like closer to Manalapan, they're going to have Nob Hill Golf Course. And on the other side of the street, you're going to have Nob Hill Bowling Alley too. So, and then Charleston Springs Golf Course, which has 2 different courses, east and west. That's going to be also located right, I think technically in Millstone actually. It's going to be right on the border of that in Manalapan, and that's a really awesome course to head out to. I've done a couple golf outings there, and maybe not my best outings or my best days, but either way, it's a really nice day out and have fun on the course. And that's going to be the top 7 things you should know before moving to Millstone. If you're thinking about moving to the town, feel free to reach out. All my contact information is down low in the comments and description. So whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year out, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. If you're looking to move to a different part of the Central Jersey area, check out 2 videos popping up, and hopefully I'll help out a little bit too. Have a great day.